Well, if you want to learn to play a jazz waltz that actually swings, that doesn't sound stiff or forced, you're in the right place. In this lesson, I'll break down the essential groove, the ride cymbal phrasing, and the subtle nuances that make a jazz waltz feel effortless. Whether you're playing in a jazz trio or backing a big band, you'll walk away with the tools you need to make your jazz waltz feel smooth and natural. And at the end of this video, I've got a bonus for you. Let's dive right in. By the way, if you're new to Brad Allen Drums, I'm a former U.S. Army drummer and now play jazz in the Kansas City area. Okay, so what is a jazz waltz? It's jazz in 3/4 time. I think that the easiest way to understand this is to compare it to jazz in 4/4 time, which most of us are very familiar with. The basic 4/4 jazz beat goes like this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
Notice that we had a hi-hat on 2 and 4 played with our foot. The 3/4 jazz waltz beat is really similar to the 4/4 jazz beat, except for we're going to leave out beat 4. So the basic ride cymbal beat for a jazz waltz sounds like this.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
By the way, if this is making sense to you, please click those like and subscribe buttons. That really helps me to keep growing this channel. Thank you in advance. So now we know what to do with our ride cymbal in a jazz waltz, but what do we do with our hi-hat? Well, the most obvious thing is to play the hi-hat with your foot on count 2, and that works in most situations.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Another common thing is to play the hi-hat on 2 and 3. This works really well if the bass player is walking, if he's playing quarter notes. So I'm going to kind of sing the bass line so you can hear how they would sound together. Bum, 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 bum. You don't have to play the hi-hat on 2 and 3 when the bass player is walking, but it is a good option. It does work very well. So what about the bass drum? Well, you can play the bass drum on count 1. I'm going to demonstrate with the hi-hat on 2 and then 2 and 3, and the bass drum playing on count 1 of every measure.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Now, I'll be honest, I hate the way that sounds and feels. This is the way Max Roach played it from what I understand. I have nothing against Max Roach, by the way. Max Roach is one of my favorite drummers. But to me, playing the bass drum on count 1 of every measure sounds very square. It just doesn't sound very jazzy to me. Here's what I like to do. I like to play the bass drum on 1 every other measure and alternate with the snare drum on 1. That has a much more open sound, at least to my ear.
1,
This leads me to my next subject, which is comping. There are various ways of comping depending on what you're doing. The first way is that you can keep your hi-hat going on either 2 or 2 and 3, play the basic jazz waltz rhythm with the right hand, and play the bass drum on 1, as I described, and then you can play different rhythms with your left hand. A 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The second way is that you can keep your ride cymbal and hi-hat steady and then improvise with your snare drum and your bass drum. Notice when I do this, it's kind of a call and response thing. The bass drum always plays the downbeat every other measure, and then the snare drum kind of responds. And sometimes I do some of those notes on the bass drum as well. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, and the third way is very interactive. This is a very modern way of playing the jazz waltz, and this is the way I play it most of the time. I use all the elements that I presented here. So sometimes I play the standard jazz waltz ride cymbal. Sometimes I play 2 or 2 and 3 on the hi-hat. Overall, all the limbs are comping to create one overall rhythm. The ride cymbal can vary a lot. If I had to explain where the pulse is mostly, it's mostly on the ride cymbal playing quarter notes. Everything else kind of revolves around that. This is basically the same thing Peter Erskine said in some of his videos and books. If you want to check out the way I play jazz waltz with the trio, check out some of the recordings my jazz trio did of Norwegian Wood by the Beatles. I'll put a link in the comments below. So that's my take on the jazz waltz, but I'd also like to hear what you think. How do you play the jazz waltz? Do you do it in the ways that I described here, or do you do something a little bit different? Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. Now for the bonus I mentioned earlier. As a thank you for watching today, I have 10 of my best exercises for speed that I'd like to send you absolutely free. These are the same type of exercises that helped my student Matthew Lam win a fastest hands drumming competition 2 years in a row. Just follow the link in the video or in the comments below to get a free copy. Be sure to subscribe to my drum channel for new videos every week. Thank you for watching, and I have a whole playlist on jazz drumming that I know will also really help you. Please check out some of those next, and we'll see you next time.